I don't know if you heard this, but Micah Parsons is now a Green Bay Packer. He was traded from the Dallas Cowboys unceremoniously for 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark. Now, I could talk all day about how the Cowboys are a clown show of an organization, how you should never trade your best player after having a completely manufactured and unnecessary contract dispute, and how none of the draft picks that they got in return for him are ever going to amount to the player Micah Parsons is. But I think I'll just take the high road on this one. I'll actually talk a little more Cowboys at the end of this video, but what's done is done, and now we as NFL fans have to live with the results. So, what are the results? Well, first of all, I may have to amend some of the words I said in my last video. The Packers miss the playoffs. Okay, this one feels quite dangerous, because I know some people out there will have the Packers as a viable Super Bowl team. They ended last year banged up. They had a lot of drops. And frankly, I owe the Packers a debt for making the Dallas Cowboys the only team in NFL history to lose to a 7th seed in the playoffs. They're well coached. They're young. What really hurts my argument from my video last week, and what's interesting about Micah, is how he's going to stunt the impact of every other quarterback in the division. Suddenly, the learning curve for second-year quarterbacks Caleb Williams and J.J. McCarthy becomes vastly more difficult, and suddenly Jared Goff may not have a lot of clean pockets. And again, Parsons is as game-shifting as any non-quarterback in the league, hence the price tag. Now, the Packers are the model organization when it comes to drafting and developing. It's their model. They rarely, if ever, overspend on big money free agents unless a truly exceptional one becomes available. A good example of this was actually the acquisition of Xavier McKinney last offseason. McKinney was not your typical overpriced veteran at just 25 years of age when he was signed. Anyway, the point is the Packers only act like this when someone exceptional comes available. Micah becomes now a third major defensive acquisition the Packers have made in the past 30-plus years. When the Packers got Reggie White in 1993, he was 31 years old. He did, however, give them 6 All-Pro seasons, a Defensive Player of the Year, and contribute to a Super Bowl winning team with a Hall of Fame quarterback. When they got Charles Woodson in 2006, he turned 30 the first month of the season, and then he gave them 4 All-Pro seasons, a Defensive Player of the Year, and contributed to a Super Bowl winning team with a new Hall of Fame quarterback. Micah Parsons is just 26 and is on pace to become a Charles Woodson or a Reggie White. I'm just kidding, no one's ever going to be Reggie White. But what's been interesting to me is how the signing of Micah Parsons has made seemingly everyone feel better about the Packers' offense. That's not to say we shouldn't feel good about it. They have a lot of talent and a great play caller in Matt LaFleur. I was definitely zagging when I predicted them to miss the playoffs last week, but I'll be fascinated to see if Jordan Love is really there yet. Don't get me wrong, he's one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch in the league, but that's more due to his gunslinger mentality, leading to some really good
drop, deep throw, 3 Rams are down there,
and some really bad.
Pressure up the middle, runs away, throws across his body.
The NFC North is going to be a complete bar fight, and it kicks off in Week 1 with the Lions-Packers and Vikings-Bears on Monday night. Both of those are must-watch in my opinion, but that's coming from a guy who will be partially locked in on the Jaguars-Panthers this upcoming Sunday. So, okay, I'm ready to talk a little Dallas Cowboys. Of course, I do take great pleasure in watching how the past few weeks have unfolded for my least favorite franchise in sports, but I do actually kind of sympathize with them. Why? The team on my shirt, Manchester United. Yes, I'm a fan of Manchester United Football Club, a major international brand that dominated the 1990s and defined the world's view of their sport in their country, and has since fallen from grace with players religiously becoming frustrated with the way the club is run. Sound familiar? And I can say right now, as a Manchester United fan, even though there are some reasons to be optimistic with some new players this season, it's a dark, dark time. And it's a really bad feeling. And as much as I enjoy seeing Cowboys fans suffer, I just want to say, I want it on record, I get it. In all seriousness, there's never been a greater sign that Jerry Jones needs to be, if necessary, forcibly removed from anything touching the Cowboys' football operations. He insists on winning these massive negotiations, and it finally bit him, as if giving Dak Prescott $60 million a year isn't enough of a punishment. And to go in front of the fan base, a fan base I detest, by the way, and just lie to them and expect them to trust you in any way.
We did think it was in the best interest of our organization, not only the future, but right now, this season.
Even I can side with Cowboys fans on that. We knew Jerry would make questionable decisions. We knew he loves being the center of attention. We never thought it would lead to a cardinal sin of running a franchise, letting a cornerstone player leave in his prime. And they traded him in the conference to the team that upset them in the playoffs 2 years ago. If you're going to trade Micah Parsons, it's an insane proposition to begin with, but if you have your mind set on it, okay, at least go about it the right way. Don't have to play him again in 1 month. As if it wasn't insulting enough for Jerry to negotiate with Micah without his agent, a violation of the collective bargaining agreement, by the way. Jerry says, Micah ain't no threat, the Packers can have him. Oh yeah, the Packers, the team that has knocked out the 3 most promising Cowboys teams since Terrell Owens was on the team. That's the team we're dealing Micah to? It would be like if the Eagles traded Jalen Carter to the Buccaneers. Imagine if the Bills traded Ed Oliver to the Chiefs, but 10 times worse. Every step of this has been bad decisions compounded on top of each other over and over again, until you basically get to a place where you can't make a good decision. It's kind of remarkable that in this choose-your-own-adventure novel that is running an NFL team, Jerry Jones chooses incorrectly over and over again on the simplest decisions. Finally, I do want to give Micah Parsons, and I guess David Mulligetta, his agent, some real credit on this one, because they could have settled. They could have tolerated the blatant disrespect that they were receiving via Jerry violating the CBA to negotiate with him, and they didn't. And that's not to say Dak Prescott settled when he signed a $60 million contract, but the other players on the Cowboys have tolerated these kind of disrespectful contract negotiations, and Jerry took it too far this time, and Micah didn't let him get away with it. And that's honestly a credit to his integrity. Anyway, there's NFL football tonight. I am nervous. I'm excited. Everybody go enjoy. Like and subscribe. See you next week when there will finally be real games to talk about.